The American dream, the belief that anyone could work hard to earn a nice house with a white picket fence and and a and a freshly mowed lawn and 2.4 kids. Well, if you've had an English class, many authors have pointed out flaws in this idea. Well, I'd like to address a particular part of this idea, a lawn. It's really absurd to have a lawn, and it's wasteful and harmful. You should really consider you should really consider replacing your lawn, as keeping it as a needless strain on your resources. It's environmentally destructive, and there are better alternatives. It's a drain on your resources. It's a waste of time for one. You spend all this time. You have to mow every week or twice a week in the really rainy seasons. You have to fertilize. You have to weed. You have to break your back doing all these chores, and you get little to no return from it. All you get is, oh, grass. That looks
so.
not interesting at all. Just society says we need to have neat grass for some reason. And here in Florida, you'll get that if you're lucky. Out here and at our house, we have just weedy patches of nutsedge and whatever else. Just all the grass died out because it doesn't grow here. It's not acclimated to this climate. So it's also a waste of resources like money, because you have to keep putting out money for fertilizer, because you have to keep the grass on life support because it won't grow here naturally. And what's more is that grass is shallow rooted, and if there's only grass in your lawn, well, there's nothing to catch those nutrients, and it slips through the cracks very easily in our sandy soil. And you also put out money for gas for the mower every week. You know, my parents have always bugged me about wasting the gas to pick me up from school. But, you know, they waste gas because, oh, our lawn needs to look pretty. And it's also a waste of water. According to the EPA, 30 to 60%. That's most of our water is used just for lawn care. And again, the grass isn't native. It's not acclimated to just survive off the rainfall like other plants are. So it'll get waterlogged easily in the wet seasons, and it'll just dry out without our help in the dry seasons. So we have to keep putting more and more water in. And again, the shallow roots and the sandy soil doesn't hold that water well, and it just washes away. And wasting water and energy isn't the only problem with this. It also lays waste to the environment. For one, it contributes to biodiversity loss. It's just a monoculture. It's just uniform grass, very boring, and there's a lot less life to it. Land that would have otherwise have a flourishing ecosystem is cleared for this. It's unbalanced. It lacks a complete diverse system of plants and insects that keeps the land healthy. Our yard is full of weeds because we tried to put in grass, and that was Mother Nature's attempt to restore balance, was all these different weeds. It's not suited to, again, it's not suited to many areas they're put in, because some lord with a lot of land said, oh, look at all this land I have. I don't even need to use this for farming. I can just have it cropped. And then everyone decided, okay, that's what we're all going to have. And there's an overuse of chemicals because, well, as I've already stated, needs more and more. Oh wow. Some lawns get 10 applications or more of pesticides per season and 2 or 3 times as much fertilizer as agricultural uses, according to Brad Card. Um, it's the use of pesticides in lawns is linked to acute respiratory problems in children, according to the Department of Epidemiology at UF. And the chemicals, they spread into the environment through runoff, which kills off life in nearby water sources. It leaches through the soil. Again, sandy soil. We're really close to the water table. We have long rainy seasons where we're just pounded with rain. And lawns have less water holding capacity. So it all just washes down and it hits the groundwater probably before it can degrade. There's also the maintenance equipment. Gasoline-powered equipment accounts for, according to EPA again, over 5% of urban air pollution. And in fact, an hour of lawn mowing is equivalent to 45 miles of driving. Unlike cars, they lack a catalytic converter, according to Lawson. I don't know who that is. And all this pollution, it's not just left behind in some highway as if you were driving. It's all within your yard, right in your face. You're breathing this in. A lawn isn't worth all the damage it does, but there are other things that you can do with your yard. There are sustainable methods. You can have Florida native plants, or plants that are at least adaptable to this climate, that can just survive off the rain and the nutrients that are naturally in the soil. They require minimal inputs. Florida Yards is a good resource. It has a database full of Florida-friendly plants. You could also hardscape, which is building stone or woodwork into your yard and possibly adorning it with hardy plants that need little maintenance, such as begonia or rain lily. You could also do edible landscaping, like small-scale permaculture, if you've heard my last speech. You could split your yard into small zones based on water needs or proximity to the house. Say, right outside your door, you could have small herbs that prefer a dry climate, and farther out you could have shrubs and bushes with fruit. Whatever you choose, any option will likely be better than keeping a grass native to the Middle East, a grass that was native to the Middle East, and putting it where there was originally a swamp. You have everything to gain and only hours of mowing to lose for this change. And no longer will your whole yard be a hole in the ground where money and chemicals pour into. And I must reiterate, lawn is a clear-cut lawn is just a barren landscape. So replace it with a more diverse landscape, which will require less inputs and allow you to reap more from it. I don't know about the American dream, but my dream is that everyone's yard is a healthy, lush environment that we can all enjoy.